Hi, my name is Mady, and I love Doritos. Hi, my name is Mady, and I am on a journey to lose weight and
to have a baby.
I like to brand this channel as weight loss and fertility. Having said that, as far as this channel goes, fertility has definitely taken the back seat for weight loss because there's really only so much that I can share with you guys as far as my fertility journey goes. But just know, I do think about the fertility stuff every single day. So while you may see this title and think, oh, Mady's trying this new diet to lose weight, I'm actually not. I'm trying this diet because this book, as well as a couple of my doctors, have suggested that this may actually be a good diet for the quality of my eggs. Why the Mediterranean diet? Other than what I just said, in the 1950s, the Harvard School of Public Health, as well as this nonprofit organization, traveled the world in search of people who were living longer and who had less heart disease, which was a big problem in America at the time and still is.
Is there a history of heart disease in your family?
My family is the history of heart disease.
After much searching, they came across the people in the beautiful island of Crete in Greece. These people were living their best and longest lives, and the Harvard scientists were shook. Okay. You guys get my point though. They studied their diets and they reported their findings so that people like me could follow their lifestyle and emulate it, hopefully for health benefits. In the 1990s, they developed this food pyramid to sort of emulate what we should be doing if we want to follow the Mediterranean diet. In the SAD or standard American diet, we often build our plates around the protein, and in the Mediterranean diet, they often build their plates around whole grains such as couscous or good rice, good quality rice, probably some other things I'm not thinking of, quinoa maybe, stuff like that. They also eat a fair amount of fish, a moderate amount of poultry, and they eat red meat at a minimum. Sweets and processed foods are also only eaten in moderation. Now, you might think that I wouldn't have any concerns about this diet whatsoever, but you'd be wrong. Okay, to be fair, half of my concerns about this diet are actual concerns and half are just me whining. So let's show a montage of all of the food that I will not be eating during these 2 weeks. I really do currently live my life in a if it fits your macros type of way. I don't demonize food and I don't actively avoid any food groups except maybe like, I don't know, deep fried food. Some part of me is worried that I'm going to be cooking 3 times a day or I'm going to feel really deprived, which I really haven't in this journey. But regardless, I'm not ovulating and I'm not seeing the fertility benefits that I was promised if I would lose weight. I've lost nearly 20% of my body fat and I still am not ovulating. So I feel like I can whine about it or I can take control of it. Having said that, I do have some actual concerns. Number one, this diet is a whole foods diet. I feel like I should be avoiding processed food in my daily life. Stuff like protein powder, protein bars, Premier protein drinks. Are you guys sensing a theme here? Yes, I am joking and whining about my Doritos, but I am actually concerned that these crutch foods that I've come to rely on to get enough protein, because they're gonna be out of my diet, am I gonna be getting enough protein? I know that I could get protein from other sources, but I don't wanna eat meat every meal. And I know this may come across as, Mady, you're just whining. But again, I think it's been really important to me not to deprive myself in this journey as much as I can. A lot of people feel like you should give up certain foods for a season, but for me, I've tried that a lot in the past, and that always results in me backsliding and gaining weight back. And it's basically a tale as old as time for a lot of other people I know or see online. They deprive themselves thinking, I can have this someday later, and then when they get it, they just can't stop. So I am worried about that, but regardless, we will persevere, we will check in on ourselves. I am still going to be tracking things, calories, and just generally doing my best. So I hope you guys come along this week And despite my reservations, I do think this diet will be good for my overall health. So let's do this. Mediterranean diet, 2 weeks. Roll the intro card, editing matey. Hello, it is I, matey from the future. Well, it's really present matey, and that was past matey that you guys saw. So I am here reporting in about how the challenge went. We have ticked off yet another challenge from our list. I mean, kind of. We did have some like life circumstances that happened, but you know what? That is okay. Also got this tapestry since I last filmed in here. I hope you guys like it. I just wanted a little visual intrigue in the back. We'll see if the cats allow it to be in here. This is kind of their room, as well as my filming room. So I thought I would report in and share what I ate in these last 10 days. Fair warning, I feel like this is not gonna look like a lot of other Mediterranean diet videos you see out there. I don't like cucumbers. I don't like olives. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a picky eater. I'm just not an adventurous eater. Like, I stick to what I know. Like, I hadn't even had chickpeas before this challenge, which is a little sad. I have had them since, and they are really good. So, you know, no complaints there. I'll try things, I just don't know to make things. Does that make sense? No? Okay, let's continue. So I thought we'd start with the things that I ate for breakfast. Now, fair warning, and I know y'all are gonna call me on this, and that is totally fine. I did rely too heavily on eggs. I believe eggs and poultry are supposed to be eaten moderately. I don't know what moderately even means, but I mean, I do know what it means in theory. I don't know what it means in practice. The point is, I probably had eggs a little too often in this challenge, in this diet, which is my bad. But what do you want from me? I like eggs. And really, I just needed the protein. But again, also just, I'm a dingus and I shouldn't have done it. Okay, I've been rambling way too long about my egg intake. I really tried to avoid processed or prepackaged food whenever I could. Or if I did, I would make sure that I could understand or knew what everything on the ingredient list was, as opposed to, you know, when you're in the store and you're reading this long ingredient list and you're like,
I know some of these words.
So having said that, I did have bread, but I did stick with sourdough. I've heard sourdough is good for the Mediterranean diet, and it was good for me and my soul too. Okay. There was one morning I wasn't super hungry, but I needed to eat something so I could take my medication. So I just toasted up a piece of sourdough bread, put a little smear of cream cheese, and literally sliced a tomato. It doesn't look like much, but it was actually really good and refreshing, and it felt like a really good little summer breakfast. If you guys watch my refeed vlog, you know that I am obsessed with the viral feta eggs, and I definitely was wanting them in this challenge too. So instead of using the tortilla like I used to use, I just used another piece of sourdough bread, would put my avocado, my feta eggs. It hit. I did kind of miss the tortilla a little bit. I just like the crunch and But honestly, the bread was a really good substitute, and it just, yeah, it was really good. And I feel like if you're doing the Mediterranean diet, you are required by law to try shakshuka at least once. I tried this recipe for like shakshuka for one. It was a shorts recipe. By the way, I will link any online recipes that I used down below if you guys are interested. But the point is, this recipe was really good. It was only made for one. It wasn't a giant skillet of shakshuka. It did have some lentils in it, which was interesting to have with breakfast and not a food that I partake in often, if at all. But it was very good and filling. I felt like I was full like all the live long day. 10 out of 10, have eaten again. I also had overnight oats, which I feel like need no explanation, as well as some avocado toast with a little poached egg. I also had like this sweet potato veggie scramble one morning that really hit. I've actually had this in previous videos, and it's always good. As far as snacks go, I was definitely on a fruit kick. I had my fair share of peaches, which I feel like are the perfect summer fruit. I also had some berries and some nuts. And don't worry, I did portion out the food after I got this shot. I'm not an animal. One day I was wanting like a more filling snack, so I got some watermelon, nuts, string cheese, and a little bit of turkey meat from Aldi's. Aldi's is the GOAT when it comes to affordable, healthy food. I don't live in an area that has Whole Foods, Costco, Trader Joe's, none of that. We have Walmart and we have Aldi's. And Aldi's just hits. I know all the ingredients on the back of that packaging. I know it's good because my cat Robin was even kind of hanging around like, yo, you want to give me some of that turkey? And she never does that. So that's how you know it was good. I also had some Greek yogurt as well as some like honey and some berries. I'm not a fan of unflavored Greek yogurt. It just tastes like sour cream and disappointment. And I don't like sour cream. Disappointment I'm kind of used to. The point is I didn't have that too often, but I did have it one night when I really needed some protein and just kind of wanted a snack. And then one of the last things I had snack-wise were these prepackaged Lara bars. And that particular type had cashews and dates, and those were the only 2 ingredients. They're a little too calorically dense for my taste with all the cashews, but there's no doubt in my mind that they're reasonably healthy in moderation. For lunch/dinner, I did heavily rely on this cookbook that I will put up on the screen. I'll also link it down below for anyone that's interested. It's got like 500 recipes in it, and everything I tried was really delicious. So if I don't say that it was good, it was good. It was all pretty good. One of the dinners that I made were these like Moroccan couscous, and I ended up pairing them with scallops as the Mediterranean diet really emphasizes having seafood at least a couple times a week. I feel like the theme of this dinner would be sphere. And no, not that sphere, just like spherical circular foods. It vaguely triggered my trypophobia looking back at the footage, but I'm fine. I have persevered. One day for lunch, I wasn't sure what I was wanting, and so I ended up making this big ass salad just out of what I had on hand. It had kale, tomato, peppers, slivered almonds, some sauteed chickpeas, and I used a little bit of this peanut satay sauce that I've used before, and I am obsessed with it. And considering it's just a concoction I made up, it really did hit for just that nice kind of summery salad vibe. I've heard these kind of salads referred to as like aggressive foliage salads, and yeah, that's a really good description for this salad. One night we had these tuna steaks with romesco sauce, and I ended up slicing up some zucchini on my mandolin and baking that up to put on the side. I've never had romesco sauce before, and the recipe didn't call to heat it up, so it was served like cold over the tuna steak. But honestly, I would drink that stuff from a bottle. It was so good. It sort of was like a tastier gazpacho, and I'm not a big gazpacho person, but it was really good. Continuing on the trend of seafood, we had this salmon salad that I've made on the channel before. I just freaking love salmon. Raw, fresh, cooked. I will eat salmon. However, one of my favorite meals that I also made during this were the chicken shawarma fries. I would definitely call this a weeknight meal, not a weekend meal, but it just hit. There just are a lot of components with making the fries, prepping the chicken, and then kind of the sauce and everything that goes on top of it. But I am literally salivating thinking about it. It was so good. I did feel like I was cooking a lot during this challenge, which I don't love. I definitely missed my convenient foods like cereal or like random freezer foods. So one night I got a little lazy and I made this chicken cacciatore in a crock pot, and I used chickpea protein pasta to get extra protein. It's not exactly a refreshing summer recipe, but I mean, it was a good recipe. My fat ass thinks so. And I would say by week 2, I was struggling with not consistently hitting my protein goals as I have in the past. And so one day I ended up having these egg wraps that I got from Aldi.
Old advantage.
What are you doing?
See the real crackers try from me. I'm just stupid. Please, oh no, why? Why am I doing this? Why would you do this?
I like how you looked away. As well as their turkey, a little bit of Primal Kitchen mayo. If I had mayo, which I didn't often, I would stick with Primal Kitchen. Yes, it is more calorically dense, but it is literally, hey, what are the minimum amount of ingredients needed to make mayo? Cool. We made that, we put it in a jar, we sold it for $10. I kid you not, it was almost $10. But it's fine. I have persevered, but I had those, little bit of veggie inside, and again, very light and refreshing little summer lunch. I also had these like Parmesan cheese crackers that I found at Aldi's. These probably were in the questionable category, although again, I could kind of read and understand all the ingredients. I wouldn't have them every day, but they were really good and a good source of protein. I also had them with this smoky tomato hummus that also hit, but again, probably not the best. Probably wouldn't eat this every day. Another night I was really beaten, so I made a really simple dinner with more protein pasta, turkey meatballs in the oven, and some rows. Some rows or rayos or however you say it, but I prefer rows. Tomato sauce, which is another just clean ingredient prepackaged food that I thought was okay for the Mediterranean diet. So let's talk about my whoopsie doopsies, because I'm not perfect, okay? We did go out to eat a couple times during the challenge. The first place we went to was this Syrian restaurant, which I actually do think was a go for Mediterranean diet. At least I was trying to be good as far as this went. I had a gyro or gyro, however you say it, and Henry had some chicken shawarma with some pita wraps. We both got salads on the sides and we both split fries because life is all about balance. And for dessert, I ended up trying some pistachio baklava and Henry got some cashew baklava. I feel like they look huge on camera, but I promise they were like this big. It was amazing. I don't have baklava very often. I could live in a house made of that stuff and eat my way out every day and I would die happy. It was really good. I did have brunch with some friends during the challenge, and I will be honest, this was in no way healthy or within the scope of the diet at all. I ended up not finishing the biscuit that is shown on this plate and instead got a waffle and put stuff on it, and it was chef's kiss. I have no regrets.
Oh, this? That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
Dad?
Nope.
Like not even a single letter?
No way.
And that is it as far as food goes. But before I get to my final thoughts, I have one thing to say. I gave up a lot for this challenge and in the name of fertility. I've really given up a lot in the name of losing 50 freaking pounds, almost 50 pounds. Well, tune in next week for an updated thing on my weight loss. Unapologetic teaser. But the point is, I've given up a lot over the course of this year and for this diet. But the one thing, my Roman Empire was coffee. Now, let me be clear. I plan to give up coffee someday when I'm pregnant. I do. I plan to give it up. I don't plan to have it with at least my first child. The point is though, I've been trying to have a baby since 2022. So yeah, I could end up pregnant tomorrow, or it could be another 2 or 3 years from now. So I have had randos on Facebook and various other places be like, well, if you want to have a baby, you're going to have to give up coffee. And I'm like, really? Am I? Because like millions of other people have babies and they drink coffee. So really, that's the thing holding me back? Coffee? I don't think so. This will be the hill that I will die on. I will keep having coffee. Now, you might be like, matey, coffee is okay on the Mediterranean diet. Why are you freaking out? I used to sweeten my coffee with liquid Sweeten Low and the syrups that you guys saw at some point at the beginning of the video. Now, those syrups are actually like reasonably clean as far as coffee syrups go. They do have monk fruit extract, and again, ingredients that I can generally read, but they also all have erythritol, which is processed and just generally a no-go on the Mediterranean diet. And I searched and agonized over what I could have, because here's the thing, I don't like drinking unsweetened coffee. I just don't. Coffee is my thing. It's my treat. God. Okay. The point is, there's a lot of conflicting information out there. I saw something that was like, oh, you can have blue agave syrup. And then I saw something else that was like, blue agave syrup is poison. So I tried many different things over the course of the 10 days. And here is what I landed on. I currently have my coffee. I have 2 shots of espresso because I have a little espresso maker Henry got me for Christmas, with a cup of almond milk, a teaspoon of monk fruit extract sweetener, and a teaspoon of pure maple syrup. Not the kind, not great value. It like the ingredient just says like maple syrup and it costs like $8 for a little glass container. That is what I landed on. And if that's not good enough, if that's wrong, I don't want to be right. No, I just didn't know. I just was so frustrated and ran out of things, but I needed my coffee. I felt like garbage without it. But if you know of any like healthier coffee sweeteners or anything, any information, please let me know. It was the hill I was about to die on. Okay, with that rant out of the way, let's get to final thoughts. So here are my final thoughts. First of all, I just wanted to remind you guys that I did do this for fertility purposes. I'm just trying to bond with my uterus, y'all. But instead, my uterus is just like, but fun fact, not so fun fact, the dietary changes that you make now actually affect your ovulation and fertility 3 months from now. So with that in mind, you may ask, matey, are you gonna stick with this? Are you gonna keep it going after this challenge is done? And the answer is yes. I will say, and I think this is important to talk about, I did have to leave town. I did mention that in my community post. And I mean, I tried, not that hard, but I did really try to kind of be balanced whenever I was out of town. But I was also in my hometown, and I haven't been to my hometown in like over 5 years. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all, delicious food was had. I'm gonna be real with y'all. So this diet wasn't exactly the easiest to do on the go, because even when I was being like reasonably healthy, I was like, this protein bar ain't Mediterranean diet friendly. This and that isn't Mediterranean diet friendly. This Mexican food isn't, but it was still good. So again, we tried. But now that I am home, I'm definitely back on it, doggone it. I made these tilapia fish tacos the other night with like these homemade tortillas that were made out of almond flour and egg whites, and they were really good. I've made shakshuka again. I've made overnight oats again. I am really genuinely trying. So I hope it's good enough. I hope it will manifest itself in something good, because at the end of the day, there is not a doubt in my mind that this is a healthy and good diet. First of all, the people that I've seen follow this diet are absolutely gorgeous. Like, they are beautiful, and I want to be emanating their energy. But also, and more importantly, it is a whole foods healthy diet that emphasizes eating whole foods that are good for you. I will say, not hitting my protein goals as much as I've been able to before is definitely a concern that I have. And I might end up reintroducing some of my like clutch protein foods, like the bars or the shakes or the powders or whatever. But as of right now, I have not. I'm just trying to stay strong and figure out other ways that I can have that protein in my diet. It is hard and it requires a lot of planning. And I have ADHD, and planning is not my forte. But if you guys have any thoughts on that, please let me know down below. I'm just out here trying to have this baby. And ultimately, I'm really hoping that this will finally be the thing that will do it. Or at the very least, help me start ovulating. Help me somehow. Or just give me some hope. Damn it. And on that slightly depressing note, we're done with this video. If you like this video, definitely give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe. The YouTube wizards love that for the growth of my channel. And I just hope you guys have a good day. Bye. I can't find my megaphone, so bye.